And welcome again to my Irie Kitchen, where as always big things are happening. Today got home from work and I decided, you know what, I'm going to fix something that's quick and easy, and we're going to also cut the meat out. We do in my family for about a few years now, we've kind of tried to stay away from so much meat. We do eat a lot of seafood, but as far as chicken and beef and those things, that's to minimal special occasions or whatever it may be. So I'm going to do a little play on a fajita inside of a stuffed pepper, but we won't have any meat in that fajita. So let me show you how to do it. You'll enjoy it. Very delicious. So I do have on the stove, which we'll look at in a minute, some jasmine rice that I cooked. Just follow the directions. It's 1 cup of jasmine rice, and you cook it and you put that to the side. I have some pinto beans that I cooked myself, and this is 2 cups of pinto beans. And once again, just follow the package instructions. I've showed you how to cook beans before. Basically, you cover the beans with water, you boil it. First of all, you pick it, get all the rocks, whatever else may be in it. You cover it, you wash it. Then you add water to it, you cover it, you boil it, you bring it to a boil. When you bring it to a boil, that first batch of water, you toss that off, you strain it. Then you cover it with water again, boil it, and when it comes to a boil, cut the pot off, the fire off, cover the pot up, and let it sit overnight. The next day, cut it back on, low, and in about an hour for a really hard bean, it's already done. You know, so it's not really that hard to do, or you can pressure cook it if you have a pressure cooker. But either way, this is 2 cups of beans. We have over here our bell peppers, some zucchini and squash, some tomatoes, some scallion, a jalapeno pepper, some cheese, some store-bought black bean salsa. I'm not making salsa from scratch today. We might do that another time. Some fire roasted tomatoes, and salt, pepper, some cumin, some oregano, and some flour for our roux. It's not really a whole lot. You know, a lot of times I use a lot of spices. I'm always having a paprika. I mean, a whole lot of spices. I do cook with a lot of spices. But because I'm using these canned pre-made items that's already got nice flavor to them, I'm not going to do a whole lot of seasoning, for lack of a better way of putting it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our zucchini and squash, because I have a pan on the stove that I'm not going to go outside and grill. It's freezing outside. It's snowing outside. Well, it might not be snowing right now, but it was snowing, and I don't want to slip and bust my butt. So I'm not going to grill, but I do have a grill pan on the stove, and what we're going to do is just going to basically take the zucchini and the squash, slice them in half, and I'm going to put them in the grill pan just to get them charred up. Oop. So, and basically I'm using vegetables that I already had in my house, so it's not like I just went out and bought a whole bunch of stuff. This is something you can kind of do with whatever, you know, whatever vegetable you have in the house. You don't have to use zucchini and squash. You can add some more bell peppers to the inside of your peppers. Whatever vegetables you have in the house. Green beans, broccoli, what other vegetables there are? I'm drawing a blank on vegetables. Cabbage, just whatever. Whatever you have in the house, you use that. And so these are my zucchini, and I'm going to start with them. Then I'll slice up the squash. I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to basically drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil, sprinkle just a little pinch of that black pepper and a little pinch of that salt on it, put it in the griddle pan, and call it a day. So I'm about to make my board messy now, but that's okay. Look at how my pretty spoon of salt just splattered all over the place. I was trying to keep it looking pretty for y'all. That's okay. Okay. This here kind of paint it on a little bit. Paint it on a little bit. Paint it on a little bit. Okay. And rub it down like I'm lotioning it. Okay. And I'm going to take these over to my griddle pan. And then I'll do the exact same thing with the zucchini. I'm going to try to see if I can fit all 6 pieces in there. Now, I might not actually use all 6 pieces, but I love zucchini and squash. And when I come home from work, if I have some left over, I would sit here and just eat some zucchini and squash. So I'm going to take these over to the griddle pan. So I'm going to try to squeeze them all in. I think I'll be able to. Alright, now while those are working, I'll go back and cut the squash up. I realized I said zucchini earlier. That's the zucchini. I'm going to cut the other squash up. Ready? Cut the tips off. Same thing. Yeah. Well, you can tell these been sitting in my refrigerator. They don't look so nice and yellow like when you first buy them at the store, but that's okay. That's what we do with our vegetables. Some of them will cook right away. Some of them wind up sitting in the refrigerator for a little while. But that's okay. We're not going to toss our perfectly good vegetables. We're going to do what? Cook them and eat them. So, same thing. I'm going to drizzle it with a little bit of oil. Sprinkle it with a little bit of pepper and salt. Rub them down, rub them down. Okay. Now, let me check the zucchini. Of course, I am doing this on the stove top. I want to make sure I don't burn it. It's getting some marks, but it can keep working for a little bit. So, in the meantime, while that's working, I'm going to cut the top off of my peppers. Start working on that. And then y'all say, yeah, I always got this board here. You finally get to see me use it. So we're just cutting the tops off the pepper. I'm doing 6 peppers. Of course, the color doesn't matter. You use whatever you want. I had already pre-washed all my peppers earlier and set them aside so you wouldn't have to watch me wash peppers. Now, because we're stuffing the whole pepper, of course I'm not going to cut it in half, so I'm just going to use my hand and sweep the seeds out of the pepper. Of course, it has the little membranes on the inside. Just pinch them. Pinch them. There you go. Got my glass bucket over here, and I'm just going to knock it out of there. And do that with all of them. And I'll stick it back in here. I do have my oven on at 350 degrees. Preheating as I'm doing this. Because believe me, even though it seems like I'm going to be doing a lot, it's really not. Once you got it going, it's about done. Now we're not going to waste those pepper tops, of course. What we're going to do with those is what you should do. You're going to take you some saran wrap, a Ziploc bag, or whatever it is. Pluck out the stems, of course. And you save this pepper for later usage. It's pepper. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to toss it. So maybe for tomorrow's dinner, if I want to add some pepper to that, I have these. Just take them, cut them up, do whatever I want to do with them. So I'm going to put those away a little later, but let me check the zucchini. Alright, so I'm going to turn them over. That's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Come on. Alright, you want to go the other way. Alright now. Now, let me put my pepper away and get the board a little cleaned up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I think they're about done. I'm not going to let the green side get too toasty. Just kind of wanted the natural sugars in the zucchini to kind of toast up a little bit and give it a nice little flavor. But it's going, some of it is going inside of the pepper, so and we're actually going to chop it up. So it's okay. There we go. And now I'll do the exact same thing with the zucchini. And I'm going to just put that right here while I go grab the zucchini. Alright. I'm talking. Don't want to burn my hands. Okay, the squash. I keep going saying zucchini. The squash. Let the squash cook some, okay? And while the squash is cooking, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this rice. And like I said, I have a cup of jasmine rice in that pot. And you scoop this over. This is going to be what I'm going to put the peppers in when we get all the way done. Forward. Okay. But prior to cooking, I toasted the jasmine rice a little bit with a little bit of butter. Just kind of melted the butter, threw the grains in the pot, just like that. And then just kind of toasted it a little bit. And then added water and all of that type of stuff. You see? We got perfectly cooked rice, not stuck to the bottom of the pot or anything like that. Alrighty then. So, I'm going to show you what we're going to do to the rice. Alright? So, while the zucchini, squash, why I keep saying zucchini? While the squash, say it with me, squash. While the squash is over there doing its thing, I'm going to take this jalapeno pepper. Now, I'm not going to use the whole pepper because my daughter is a spoiled sport. And she's going to complain, "Ma, it's too spicy." Blah, blah, blah. So, I'm going to take this membrane out. Make sure I remember to wash my hands. Because that might not be too pretty. That is a hot one too. And I'm just going to kind of dice it up. That's all. That's it. That's it. Let me check that squash. They were a little bigger, but they didn't fit as neat. That's okay. They don't have to be perfectly have perfect lines. Okay. Go back over here. We just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. So I'm gonna take this jalapenos, add it to the rice, along with this can of fire roasted tomatoes and the pinto beans. Take it over here. That's the balance in that. Then drop it. Fire roasted tomatoes. Try to get organic. Feel a little bit, have a little bit more peace of mind with the way it was handled and treated. Okay. Now I'm gonna get the beans. Beans in there. Then after I add the beans, I'll pull that squash because that squash is about ready. I'm gonna add all of the beans. Once again, if you don't use, we might use all of this mixture. Not 100% sure because it depends on your size of your peppers and all of that type of stuff. It's no big fuss if you don't finish it all. You don't use it all. What you do, put this in the refrigerator and you use it for something else. Or you just eat the rice alongside, here's zucchini and squash. Bam, you're done. Alright, so put this here. I think these two end pieces, I'm going to go ahead and flip them back over so they can toast a little bit. Give them a little bit more love. They were on the end. Flip over. Alright, now as far as the rice goes, you see what we did? We added a 14-ounce can of fire roasted tomatoes. We added half of a diced jalapeno. You can add more if you want to. And we added 2 cups of pinto beans. And guess what? The rice is done. Just the way it is at the moment. We're going to add some more stuff to it a little bit later. But right now, we're not adding anything else. I did salt the beans when I was cooking it. The fire roasted tomato already has salt in it. So I'm not going to add any, not going to overdo it with the spices. I do have some cherry tomatoes that I'm going to throw in this pan right here and just kind of let it roast up a little bit. Yeah, do that. So let me grab the tomatoes. Alright. And pray it don't splash on me. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the squash now. See? A lot better. Now, of course, we got to keep our eyes on the tomatoes. I'll probably cut that burner off for now. I'm going to use the same one that I had the beans in to put these tomatoes in. See, they're kind of starting to burst, some of them. That's what we want. It gives the appearance of roasting without actually roasting. And even though you might say she still haven't added no seasoning to this, it's going to be packed with flavor. Don't worry about it. Trust me, you know I'm the spice queen and the flavor queen. So if you see me not adding a whole lot to it, then you know it's not me. Go ahead and pull them out. Pull them out and set them to the side. Okay. Alright. Give me a second to kind of straighten up a little bit, organize a little bit, and we'll be back together. Okay. So, I might need more than 2 of the zucchini and the squash. Honestly, I did that much just because I wanted to have extra. So we're going to take the oil and just kind of drizzle the bottom of this pan. The salt, the black pepper, the oregano, and that's my neighbor's dog, Lucy. If you hear her barking. And that's cumin. And so I'm going to take my pastry brush and just kind of mix it into the oil a little bit. So this is going to serve as a dual purpose. It's going to kind of oil my pan. It's going to oil my pan. But then it's going to also oil the outside of my pepper. So they might not stand up. They might, I don't know. It's okay. They don't have to look pretty. Just kind of brush them down, brush them down. Yeah. Because what we're going to do is we're going to add some of this salsa over it for the first 45 minutes or so. Well, I'll say first 30 minutes of cooking. And then we're going to pour some more after it, but we want the outside of the peppers to kind of get a little crispy, so that's why I kind of brushed it with oil. That's just there for throwing on at the end. So, cheese. Now, we're going to put a little bit of cheese in there. Let me wipe my hand off with some paper towel. Okay. So, we're going to mix some cheese in with the rice, and that we're going to use to stuff this along with some of that zucchini and squash. But what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of cheese right now because, of course, you want to top it off with a lot of cheese. So, and the cheese is totally optional. It will be delicious with or without. But I'm going to choose to do with tonight. Got black pepper in my hand, so what I'm going to do, because I can see that I'm not going to use all of this rice, I'm just going to mix it into half of the pan. Because I don't think I want cheese throughout the whole rice. So, working in a small space, but you work with what you got. Just going to work, mix it into half the pan. And, of course, if we need more later on, guess what? We add more later on. So, I'm going to just put the zucchini and the squash half at the bottom, rice in the middle, a little bit of salsa, and then the other half at the top. Ooh. This is kind of warm. You can definitely do it ahead of time. Let it cool down a little bit more than I've got it. That's just for a little bit of extra something in there. You got your protein, you got your beans, and contrary to popular belief, vegetables do have protein also. So we're not missing anything. And I'm also adding some cheese. So I'm just going to take a little little handful, put down in there. I didn't add any onions because the salsa that I chose has a lot of onions in it. So, I figured I didn't need any onions. I'm going to say, it's a cheat meal. You can choose to buy all of these stuff already done and then just put it together. You don't even have to cook it like I did. Okay, so I'm going to stuff it with some of this rice and beans. The reason why it's called stuffed peppers is because you're going to stuff it. Stuff it down in the pepper. Stuff it. I like to, for lack of a better term, overcook, because I find that leftovers from one meal always turn around and make an awesome second meal. And it don't have to necessarily be the same thing. So I can take this leftover rice right here on tomorrow or whatever day it may be. I can add some cheese to it. I can add some beans to it. I can take a tortilla, roll it up in it, take some of that salsa, a little bit of flour, make an enchilada sauce, roll them up, pour it over that bad boy, top it with cheese, stick it in the oven, and the same rice just made me enchiladas. So I don't worry about overcooking, especially with my work schedule. It's like, okay, we have so-and-so in the refrigerator. What are we going to do with it? And that's how we work it out. I'm going to put, stuff some more. This is zucchini and squash in it. I'm hoping I don't need no more because I don't feel like cutting no more. So let's see how that works. I might have to. Shucky. That's okay. All right, I think I'm gonna have to cut up another half of a zucchini and another half of a squash. All right, here we go. Now that's looking right. There we go. Stuff it in. Let me get some. Go back over them. Stuff them real good. Yeah. All right. So I got to wash my hands because they feeling really right now. Okay. Now that looks a little better. Looks a little fuller. We're going to pour a little bit of that corn salsa at the bottom around the peppers, but don't want to coat the top of it because I want it to kind of get kind of crispy. And a lot of times when people do peppers, they cover them. I don't cover mine because I don't want to overcook it. I'm not going to sit it in there forever. I'll say you'll probably be cooking them about 45 minutes tops between the cooking and putting the cheese on it and putting it back in the oven or whatever. It may vary based on how it looks, how it feels. Of course, you might be one of the ones that love for your vegetables to be really soft. I like mine to be on the crunchier side, so I'm going to play it by ear. I go by eye. To be honest, I'm not really a huge recipe cook. You know, I kind of play it by ear and feel it out. But for the sake of you, I try to stick with the numbers a little bit. But so I have my oven on 350 degrees. I'm going to get my hands washed. And then we're going to pour the salsa over and I'm going to stick it in the oven. And actually run to the restroom and wash my hands though because I got this board blocking the sink. So I'll be back. All right. This is a black bean and corn salsa. It's a mild black bean and corn salsa. And I chose mild because of my daughter. Ooh, I don't want it to be too spicy. Like I said, it has a really great flavor already, so that's why I chose not to add a whole bunch of anything to it. Just gonna dump it out. Take my spoon and kind of maneuver it a little bit. If you want to, you could choose to slice your peppers in half. Instead of cutting the top off like I did, just slice it in half and just kind of pick the stem off and fold it open. And that'll also work. probably cut the cooking time down a little bit too. But, you know me. I do stuff the hard way sometimes. That's basically it. I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees. And I'm going to let it cook for about maybe 15-20 minutes. I'll check it. And then we'll go from there. A little bit of corn salsa touching the top. That's okay because I'm going to be topping it with corn salsa. The black bean and corn salsa anyway. So that's it. Bingo. Put it in the oven. And we'll check it soon. Okay. Woo, woo, woo. And we sizzling. Okay. We have one that fell over, but that's okay. We'll just stand them up. Ooh. Okay. So you can hear it sizzling. Ah. Okay, you don't want to burn your hand, so let's do this. I'm trying to stick the zucchini squash back in. So let's lean it this way. Okay. All right. Those look good, and they smell even better. Oh. You can't smell them, but they smell good. Okay. So basically all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some more salsa on the top. Remember those tomatoes that I did? I'm going to put that on the top. And then put some more salsa across it. And that's it. Now, it was in the oven for approximately 35 minutes. Like I said, this whole cheesing process is not going to take that long because we're just now we're just going to melt the cheese. So, pile it on as much as you want up there. Ooh, that pan is hot. Let no one fool you. A cast iron pot holds on to heat. I love them though because they cook evenly, but they hold on to heat. So, okay. I'm going to put some tomatoes. The tomatoes, I'm just going to put it down here. I want it to get so when I get ready to plate it, I'll be able to just scoop up beans and tomatoes all together. Well, salsa, black bean salsa and tomatoes all together. So I'm going to just put it down there like that. Then I'm not going to use this whole container of salsa. I'll leave some, maybe somebody wants some chips later on or something. Don't worry, I'm not destroying the cheese. We're putting more up there. That's what I said, it's going to be cheesy. You know what? I think I'm going to just go ahead and dump all the salsa. I was listening to Tracy Chapman and now it's stuck in my head. I was about to start singing. All right. Ooh! That went falling. Ooh! Everything's tumbling. Okay. More cheese, more cheese. More cheese and more cheese. A little more cheese. A little more cheese. A little sprinkle on down there, down there, down there, down there. Down there. A little bit of parsley flakes. I'm going to do that. And then basically we're just going to put this back in the oven for the cheese to melt. I'm going to put it back in the oven for it to melt. And while it's melting, I'm just going to chop up this scallion, green onion, whatever you want to call it, and then grab some sour cream. Bam. those leftover zucchini that I had. I decided I'm going to use that in my plating. And I held on to a little bit of the rice also, just in case someone wants a little extra dab of rice on their plate. So I'm going to stick this back in the oven. Believe me, this is not like the miracle of TV where you know good and well that plate is cold and they pretending it's hot while they take it out the oven. This is hot, so I need my hot pad. Put it back in the oven just to melt the cheese and chop that up real quick. All right. Snip the tips off because they're looking a little special. All right, and just however big, however small you want them, if you want them. It's all about whatever floats your boat. Food should be fun, should be enjoyed, and there shouldn't be so much rules to eating your food that you pay your good money for. So do whatever you feel like doing. But I'm going to put a little bit of green onions and a little bit of sour cream on the top. So while that's still in the oven working, I'm going to grab the sour cream and should be in a few minutes ready. Alrighty, Rue. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Ooh, look at the melty cheese. Ooh, delicioso. I'm channeling my inner Dora. Let me get this hot bag. Okay, so I just took a little bit of the zucchini and the squash. I put there a little bit of the rice. And I'm gonna, which one should I take, Charles? Okay. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay. I'll go for this one on the end. How about that? Oh, that's hot. Okay. Ooh, oozy, oozy. Look at that. It's all kind of oozing out, but that's okay. I'm going to take a little bit of this black bean salsa mix. I like this salsa because it's thick. It is loaded with beans. So it's not going to be all watery or anything like that. I had the flour. Just in case it was, I would have used it as a thickener. But I find that I really didn't need it. So I didn't use the flour. So, okay. All right. Look good? All right. And this is just once more because my daughter is a sour cream fan. I will not put sour cream on my husband's plate because he's not a sour cream fan. But my daughter is. Let's put a little dab of sour cream to the side. And I'm just going to put a little bit of green onions all over there. All over there. I like green onions, scallion, whatever you want to call them. And voila. I have basically a vegetarian stuffed bell pepper. It has the seared zucchini, squash, pinto beans, rice, that fire roasted tomato and cheese stuffed on the inside. Over here we have the black bean salsa with the tomatoes that we also seared in the pan. Some sour cream, and we have a delicious meal. So I got to cut that open for you so you see how oozy it is on the inside. And also, of course, I got to taste it, right? Okay. Let me get my knife and fork. All right, now. I'm ready to eat. Ooh, see how nicely the pepper cuts right through? It's not hard at all. But, you know, it could have been cooked a little more if you prefer your pepper a little more on the soft side. So that's up to you. But look at the ooziness on the inside. Look at that. Better hurry up and taste it for you so that my family can eat. Because I'm sure they're hungry. It's really kind of late. But we all work. And they understand. They do. They're not complaining. So I got a little bit of the beans, a little bit of the rice, extra rice. Oh, I ain't got me no zucchini. So I have to get a whole mouthful. Wait a minute. Let's put that down. Now let's scoop some zucchini. Oh, squash. What is with me and today in the zucchini and squash? Can't get it right. And I'll dabble a little bit of sour cream. I'm making a mess of this plate. So good. So delicious. Not missing the meat at all. This is very, very good. You should try this. Trust me. Well worth it. Well worth the time. Very good. And you can take this time and prep if you want to. The pinto beans, I made them from scratch just because I had beans in the house. But you can buy the beans already prepared if you want to. Just buy some organically canned beans. Same thing about the salsa. You saw how many stuff I bought. I used that I didn't make from scratch. I bought the salsa. Bought the fire roasted tomatoes. You know, so make it as quick, easy as possible. However it'll work for you. But just try this dish. It's really, really good and really, really well worth the wait and the time. So, once again, thank you for stopping by the Irie Kitchen as I stuffed my mouth. That wasn't so big of a bite. But much love to all of you. Remember to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please share my page. We're working on the magazine that's going to be coming soon. I love the feedback that I've been getting from you all. Please keep it up. Much love to you on tonight and have a wonderful day or night. We're going to go eat now.